Came down to the middle of the driveway. This is that area that was just, it's where the little wild strawberries were, but not the good ones, the ones that didn't bloom. Anyway, I've been filling in with iris. I dug up that dogwood. It was only like 6 inches high from the woods. It's doing great. It didn't bloom, of course. But anyway, I've just been sticking in irises. Of course, I didn't know what color they were, and they're all yellow, which is fine. I like the yellow, but I really like the yellow mixed with the pale purple and white. And I did remember this year where I had the pale purple, and I took pictures of it. So when it's time to move them, I'm going to stick some in there, because I like the solid block, but I think it looks pretty too when they're mixed. And then, remember that big clump of coneflowers I told you about? That bare area where you can see all the leaves? That's where I stuck them. Well, not all of them, but I put about at least 10 of them there. And then that first bush with the little rock wall, that's a yellow twig dogwood. It doesn't make a tree, it's a bush, and supposedly the bush is supposed to just get larger and spread. I'll believe that when I see it. And then those, the lighter green low plants, kind of like a ground cover, they call it snow on the mountain, but I didn't think that's what snow on the mountain looked like, but that's what the label said. And these, I bought that flat of 9 Japanese painted iris, no, Japanese painted ferns. And some of them are doing so much better than others, and I don't understand why when they're so close together. Like, look at the size of those two on the right, and then look up here. See that little teeny tiny one? I have no idea what makes the difference. But anyway, they're all alive and they're doing well. I threw in a few trillium. And this is that bush. It was in the front yard and it just got enormous. And I planted it here last spring and it was doing terrible. And it hardly had any leaves on it. And then I realized there was some little white fly eating the leaves. So now I've been spraying it every 2 weeks. And you can see it's starting to bush out with a lot of new growth. So I think it'll be happy here. And then here are the variegated Solomon seal, which are happy and doing well, but didn't bloom. But this, I planted them there last spring. The bush at the top is a red twig dogwood, and again, it clumps, but the twigs aren't red now. I don't know why, but they were this winter. And then I've got this great corner here with nothing on it. I've got to think of something really good for that corner. Of course, there's no sun. Up at the top there, to the in the right corner of the screen, it's some kind of grass that's white and green. I thought it would help brighten up this dark corner. This area gets very, very little sun. And you can see there's one, there's two, and then there's the third one. They're ostrich ferns. They're supposed to get 3 or 4 feet tall. We'll see. I'm just happy they're still alive after last summer. And those plants behind it, I forgot the name of them, but I saw them in Alaska, and they were so beautiful. It made me realize what mine were supposed to look like. And there's an abelia, and that's an American beauty bush up at the top. I remember reading about it and thinking, oh, I have to have that. Now I can't remember why I had to have it, but it's there. And then these are some little of those lily of the valley that we got from the rental house. They've only been here since last spring and they're already sending out babies. So I'm hoping that this area will fill in. Then I have another abelia and some ferns at the bottom. That's the other bush from the front yard that got too big. And it had the same problem with the white flies. I just didn't realize how bad they were until almost all the leaves were gone. I thought it was dying, and it was just the bugs eating all the leaves. There's a little Princess Spirea blooming, and of course some orange daylilies in front of it and behind it. And in between that grass and that bush is more orange daylilies. And I'm really surprised. See, they're sending out little shoots. I don't know if you can see it, but they're going to bloom this year, which I just moved them. I didn't think they'd bloom, but they are, so I'm happy about that. And this bed is kind of a new bed. I'm going to step back so you can see the whole thing. I just did this. And it's, I put another one of those, oh, what are they called? The goat's beard at the top. See, and I left enough space where it can get the 4 feet wide and fill in. And that ground cover, let me get closer so you can see it. It's called Wild Raspberry. And I don't know if it has raspberries or not, but it's doing well and it's spreading. It's kind of prickly. The deer don't like it. And then I filled in with the little sparkler. And I've really improved this dirt, so I'm hoping that after this I won't ever have to buy any more of the sparklers. And I put in some of my coral bells. Do you see how pathetic and little they are? They almost all died last year. And then I put in a little clump of that miniature mondo grass. And of course my favorite, the cone flowers. Now there's one of the red buds that I've grown from just a tiny little seedling. Of course it didn't bloom. And then this area, I really, considering how this looked, I'm sure you remember, this was just the worst area in the driveway. It was just solid rock. It was horrible. But that's my Cusca dogwood that didn't bloom. It still only has about probably, well, it's probably missing about 30% of the leaves it had when I bought it. It just, I guess I just don't water enough for a tree. But these are things I've just stuck in here, the catmint and some cone flowers and hostas. And then I just love these Weigelias. They did so well. I've got two are the variegated and one was the plain. But my plan was for them to have all those real pretty pink flowers, which they did, and they were spectacular. But then I wanted the dogwood to have the pink flowers. And can you see all this creeping thyme? All of this creeping thyme was from that one 10-cent package of seeds that I got and threw out. And then, do you see how big those are chrysanthemums. And I've got one of those blue muffin bushes in the middle. And see that little red? Let me try and see if I can zoom in. That's a Gerber daisy that I had at the rental house. I thought they only lived 3 years. If it's going to do that well, I might have to go get some more of them. And there's the bird bath leaf we made, and your chicken. Those are asters around it. They do real well. They get really tall. They get up past the bird bath. And there's your little, why can't I not remember anything? Fairy rose. You can see it's blooming. You can see the chicken better. And this area doesn't look like there's anything in it, but if there are little tiny marigolds, and I put more of those little tiny cone flowers that were there. Those are some black-eyed Susans that I've been spraying. There's another fairy rose getting ready to bloom. Well, no, it's actually blooming. Some catmint. My apple tree that I don't know if I'm having apples. These are my my lavender. See, they're getting ready to bloom. I have the chocolate ajuca in front of it. And that's a variegated vinca with cone flowers sticking up and an enormous coreopsis. I guess I should divide it, but I just love it being big like that. I guess if it's that tall, it probably should be further back. And that bare area in the front, it's just hard to tell, but there's little tiny marigolds, zinnias, cone flowers. They're just, they're just small. And then here I have the taller bushes in the back are forsythia. And then, another apple tree and the heavenly bamboo. And that's my cotton lavender. Love that cotton lavender. It's getting ready to bloom. There's some marigolds at the base of it, and up above it is the agastache, and then that lime spiderwort that I like so much. And then there's all my, I mean, I have moved daylilies and moved daylilies, and you cannot tell that any are missing. But they are. Now down at the very end, you can really tell. And you can see how messy everything is. But, I'm going to redo that wall, so I don't really care.